Hello everybody, welcome to episode number 5 of the BIVBlog, Benedict's IT video blog. My name is still Benedict Stockerbrand, and today I want to talk about how to unique local address or not. In the previous few episodes I've explained how to come up with an addressing plan, but one topic that I've omitted because it's sort of orthogonal to the rest is the question of unique local addresses. Now, they are one of the topics that are hotly debated in all sorts of contexts. So the obvious answer to the question to use unique locals or not is obviously depends on the circumstance. Unique local addresses have a huge advantage or disadvantage in that they aren't routed across the internet. Now, if you're building a security sensitive sort of environment where you have a traditional inside and then some firewall with packet filter, application level gateway packet filter to connect to the outside, then you can easily use unique local addresses behind your firewall, and all your internal machines talk only to the application level gateway using unique locals, and that application level gateway has an external interface with the global address, and from there it talks to the outside. If that setup is suitable for your needs, or if it meets your particular preferences, is another question. But what's good about this is, first of all, that if you somehow screw up somewhere, at least your machines aren't reachable from the outside simply because your upstream ISP won't route traffic to your unique local addresses from the outside. So, simple as that. Another advantage of unique local addresses is that they can't be taken away from you. So, if you get a phone call, email, whatever from your ISP, sorry, bad news, but you have to renumber, then unique local addresses are really convenient because they're not affected. And even if you have global addresses to the majority of your machines, this is still helpful if you have unique local addresses assigned to them in parallel. Why is that? Because if anything goes wrong, then it keeps machines reachable through the unique local addresses, so you can clean up remotely rather than having to walk to every single affected machine. So that can be quite nice. And all these situations can be reason to use unique local addresses. There is, however, one reason to be careful with unique local addresses, and that's basically broken implementations. Now, RFC 3484 and successor should be 6724 define address selection algorithms, both for source and destination addresses. And as long as implementations follow these, everything should be fine. Question is, do they always? And as soon as you have multiple addresses assigned to a single node, it will use some sort of specified or unspecified source address selection algorithm. And if you have more than one prefix assigned, you may have a problem. So if you assign unique local addresses alongside global addresses, that may cause problems. You might, on the other hand, argue at that point, yeah, but I rather have the problems when I deploy IPv6, because then I can sort them out, than have them when I have to migrate from one ISP to another, where I have a window where I have multiple addresses assigned to interfaces anyway. Your call. And which disaster is preferable is dependent on your situation and your preferences. So there are reasons to use unique local addresses, and there are at least temporary situations where you have multiple prefixes of global scope assigned to your interfaces. Question is, how do we deal with that in our network plan? And now here's what I recommend, because it makes things easy again, which is our overall goal with IPv6. And that's, whatever you do to every subnet, routing prefix, whatever, make sure you keep global routing prefixes and unique local prefixes in sync. So basically you get one, maybe multiple, but let's say one global routing prefix from your ISP. You pair it with the unique local prefix of the same length, and then basically plan for using both in parallel everywhere. You don't have to deploy it everywhere, but you can that way ensure that no matter where you go, if there are unique local addresses, you can also get global addresses there on short notice, and vice versa. So keep these two in sync and you have very little trouble, and which is another bonus, only half as many things to remember, because, well, okay, you have to remember both prefixes, which is reasonable, scales well, because there are always just two of them, or three or four, whatever. And everything beyond that global routing prefix or unique local prefix is the same for all machines. And that makes life easy once again. So that's what I wanted to tell you about unique local addresses and all these religious, pseudo-religious, fundamental discussions going on there. And if you want to discuss this in more detail, move over to the forum. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you again next time. Bye. Okay. Cup of tea, everyone.